Hello friends, welcome back. My name is Kate and today we're going to paint this beginner-friendly cloudy night sky bookmark. This is perfect for anyone starting out with watercolors. Let's get started. I'm working with watercolor paper that is 140-pound cold press. It's important to have proper watercolor paper, as well as a large round brush and a smaller round brush. Then use whatever watercolor paints you have. I already have a dark and light blue paint mixture ready to go on the side. I will have all of the specific paint colors I used listed over on my blog if you would like to check that out. I will have a link in the description box below. Before we begin, you first need to have your paper taped down to create a nice white border. Then for step 1, we're going to take a round brush and fill it up with water, and then use that paintbrush to fill your entire page with that clean water. Then take a light wash of blue paint on your brush and begin filling in the majority of the bookmark. A light wash of paint means you have more water than paint in your paint mixture. Then, once that light wash is in place, begin painting in a darker blue paint and also a dark blue paint with some black added in to your bookmark on top of that light blue paint mixture we just put in. I tried to be random about where I placed my paint so that when the paint would dry, the paint would leave more of a texture instead of just being flat and even. Then, while everything is still wet, take a dry piece of paper towel and crumple it up into a ball and start dabbing away at the edges of the bookmark to create the shapes of clouds. You'll need to rotate your paper towel as you dab away at the paint to keep having a fresh side of that paper towel taking away and picking up that paint. This is one of the easiest ways to create clouds with watercolor. It's so satisfying to see these clouds take shape. Once my clouds were all in place, I took some more dark paint on my brush and tapped in that darker color around my clouds. Adding a little bit more paint is really going to help these fluffy clouds stand out. If you are enjoying this tutorial, then you may also be interested in my watercolor moon tutorial. Click the link in the top right-hand corner to check it out. For our next step, we are going to take a very light wash of blue paint, which means a lot of water and a little bit of blue paint, and fill in the center of the clouds. This will help give the illusion of depth and shadowing to each of the clouds. We want to keep the edges of the clouds as white as possible. We are now going to add a second layer on top of the sky area, avoiding the clouds. I first decided to add a break in the clouds at the top middle section of the painting. I just took a dark wash of the blue paint and created a loose shape to add separation between the two clouds. Then I went in the middle section of the bookmark and added some darker areas around the clouds, and then I used some clean water to blend the paint around the entire sky. I made sure that my painting was completely dry before I added more paint and water to the sky. I didn't want my original layer to be reactivated and blend together and take away from that original look that we had. Next, I took a thick wash of white watercolor paint on my brush and I used it to smooth out the edges of my clouds. I just lightly applied the paint and then painted it all along the edges of the clouds. This will help the clouds seem fluffy and bring out the shadowing that we added to the clouds earlier. Once the entire painting dried, I took more white watercolor paint on my brush and I splattered it all over the bookmark. This will give a natural appearance of stars. Any of the white splatter that got on my clouds, I just took a clean damp brush and I blended it out into the clouds. And there you have a simple starry night sky bookmark. This bookmark will be for sale over on my Etsy shop if you would like to check it out. I will have a link in the description box below. Thanks so much for following along today. Here are a few more watercolor tutorials you may also like.